it's Tania Gabrielle, Wealth Astro-Numerologist, and welcome to Star Codes. This is the Astro-Numerology forecast where we look at an upcoming event in the stars and numbers to help us prepare energetically and take advantage of the cosmic alignments. And in this case, we're going to cover the Cancer new moon on June 28th, 29th. And preceding that, of course, is the summer solstice in the northern hemisphere and the winter solstice in the southern hemisphere on June 21st. And both indicate new beginnings. The new moon, of course, is a new cycle, a new season that is signified by the sign of Cancer, which is a cardinal sign. And then, of course, the solstice is the onset of a new season, summer or winter. So super exciting. So let's get started with the fact that the new moon in Cancer happens on the 28th in the Americas and on the 29th in Universal Time, Greenwich, England. So why is that significant? Well, both 28 and 29 reduce to numbers that involve the number 1. 28, 2 plus 8 is 10 and 1. 29, 2 plus 9 is 11, which is double 1, double new beginnings. So even the numerology code in this case echoes the fact that we literally just had the solstice a week prior and then the new moon in Cancer. So really beautiful new beginnings energy. So the summer solstice on the 21st, 21 is the number of our 21st century. It is the number of truth and joy. And sometimes the solstice happens on the 20th, sometimes on the 21st. In this case, it is the number 21. So our alignment to truth is going to be big in the next 6 months until we come to the solstice on December 21st. So we are birthing new beginnings in how to embrace what appears in front of us, what is actually so, and allowing the truth to set us free. And so these numbers that accompany the lunation a week later in the Cancer new moon are indicating it's a new beginning in how we perceive truth and how we align to that present moment. 29, which is the universal date, the June 29th, that's an 11. That's double new beginnings. That's the portal. That's the master number of being in the present moment and not taking a thought for tomorrow or for yesterday. So the past and future are irrelevant when you are in the moment. And that's how you let go of your hang-ups, of habitual patterns, of attachments, whether they're emotional attachments or physical attachments. We are letting go in a big way. And it's really important we do, because coming up in the rest of the next few months, the end of July and August, there's going to be a major moment of moving forward and breaking through. That's the Saturn-Uranus connection that is being triggered by Mars. And I will be going into that over the next few months. But now is the time to set the stage, literally to set a new table, new dishes, new flowers on the table. Just set the table for your next few months and what you envision. It is a beautiful, beautiful moment. So Cancer is the crab. And the crab is significant in that it has protection. So it feels very much able to express its sensitivity and love and kindness that Cancer is known for. And then the flip side is, the shadow side is, the crab may retreat, not due to protecting itself, but due to feeling an inner sense of attack or insecurity. So there are two sides. So you don't want to hide under the shell to avoid living your life and expressing yourself. You don't want to put your head in the sand. You want to use that shell to have boundaries so that this water sign, water signs are so emotional, Cancer, Scorpio, Pisces, so that you as a water sign can come through and really feel connected in heart to heart with others. Now, you don't have to be a Cancer to benefit from this forecast. This Cancer new moon is happening somewhere in your astrology birth chart. And so it impacts you in that area of your chart, depending on what house it's in and what other planets in your natal chart it's touching. But either way, you are going to get the forecast for yourself, even if you're not a Cancer. So the main symbol for Cancer is actually the mother. It is ruled by the moon. So the moon represents that nourishing, compassionate energy. And so every time the Cancer new moon comes around in the lunar cycles, the divine feminine, the mothering energy is activated within our hearts. So there is a beautiful invitation to get in touch with sweetness, with gentleness, with caring, with kindness, and with the joy that accompanies all of those, the joy of sharing your heart and merging with another. Now, when we move into that heart center, we come home to ourselves, and Cancer governs our home. It governs the fourth house in astrology, which is the house of where we live and our family and our genetic background and literally how we feel at home. And so it is a very private internal sign of emotional security. So when the Cancer new moon comes around every year, we get in touch with those feelings, and our moods sometimes can be more enhanced, and we require more empathy, and we may need to be more vulnerable and feel a sense of intimacy. So basically your feelings are heightened, and you pay more attention to home and family and food and preparing meals and everything that makes your life homey and delicious. And so there's a sense of feeling good and secure, and taken care of, and feeling safe as well. The sense of safety is important. So this new moon happens at 7 degrees in Cancer. And so 7 is the number of inspiration or research, of really going deeply into a topic and allowing yourself to intuitively be inspired. So in this case, with the combination of Cancer and the number 7, you're being inspired to love. You're being inspired to nourish and to bring those themes into your life. And the moon and sun are exactly square to Jupiter. Jupiter's at 7 degrees in Aries, and the sun and moon are at 7 degrees in Cancer. So an exact square is very intense. And Jupiter, of course, is very much about expansion and joy. So you're being called to, squares always call you to action. You're being called to really focus on what brings you joy. This is really a sense of expanding your perspective on what happiness and freedom and exploration and adventure mean to you, because Jupiter likes to explore. Jupiter likes to learn, and Jupiter square the sun and moon makes you happy and invigorated and strong, so that you can activate that positive flow of energy and let optimism carry you through any challenges. So always your perspective shifts to the bigger view with Jupiter. And Jupiter is in Aries, so there's a new beginnings of energy that echoes the new moon and the solstice. So there's even new energy, given that the main aspect to this new moon is this double square from Jupiter and Aries, the first sign, to the new moon. So allow optimism to carry you through every moment. And also with Jupiter, just be aware not to overdo things, to do things in moderation. So focus on each project, one project at a time, to make the most of this very powerful transit. It can be so invigorating and positive when you stay focused and disciplined and allow positivity to infuse you as you move through everything that is being explored in your life and that appears in your life. So then we also have Mars square Pluto, Mars at 25 degrees Aries in its own sign, square to Pluto at 27 degrees in Capricorn. So Mars in its own sign makes it very strong and vigorous, and Mars fires you up with this goal-directed energy, and then Pluto comes in with a square with power and leadership, and you can really create tremendous results with this square. Like I said, square is activating, so you can achieve so much during this time, and it will help this inner tension that can arise from the square. Just, it needs an outlet, so you want to channel your passion into creativity, into projects, into physical movement, or put it into a good business endeavor. Either way, you're going to have to use it energetically, and you have the courage to do so. And then we also have Mars sextile Saturn, and see, that calms you down. That literally helps with the willpower and the concentration and the patience, where you hold distractions at bay and you literally can complete goals. So this is wonderful for patience and for getting things done in a way that is not impeding the flow. So Saturn is really helping to calm down the square between Mars and Pluto as well. Venus sextile Jupiter, and this is beautiful. Venus is at 7 degrees, just like the new moon in Cancer, and Jupiter is at 7 degrees. So it's an exact sextile during this new moon, and it's very important because it echoes the actual degree of the new moon. So Venus sextile Jupiter, those are the two benefics in astrology. This makes so much warmth and enthusiasm and happiness, and very social. It's a day that you can really feel acceptance and generosity, and you want to surround yourself with things that allow you to feel pleasure and remind you of the beauty that the earth represents as well. So there's this cheerful, optimistic energy, and the more grateful you are, the more optimism you will feel in your life. And then there's Mercury sextile Chiron, so another sextile. So that's a flowing between the right and the left brain to create balance, creating great intuitive skills, and just what to say and how to respond to people, even if you don't know anything about them. It's just that you're adept at communicating because you're listening to your intuition, and you have this extraordinary ability to create and convey the meaning of what it is that you're feeling or creating, and you can share that with others easily. So Chiron always brings this ability to advise and to heal, and knowing what to say in this instance, because of Mercury's communication, really helps you to do that in a very healing way. Now, if you're feeling fatigued by all the events that are going on, and you're looking out onto the external world and you're saying, well, why haven't things changed? I've been waiting for so long, especially since 2012, when the Mayan calendar ended and began again, and that was supposed to be a big shift. Well, things move more slowly. Think of this as a galactic, gradual process in terms of perspective, and your perspective on time and experience. It's really a blink of an eye when you think about it, the last 10 years. And it's just our ego that wants to speed things up. And, when we adjust in a way that is quickly to the new energy, and then still see all this stuff going on, this mayhem going on in the world, we wonder, well, did it really happen? Well, of course, you can feel it in your heart. And that some people around you feel the same as you do, and some don't, and that's okay. Everybody has their own timeline, and that's perfectly fine in terms of where they are at this moment. So it doesn't mean, though, that you have to suffer just because others are still aligning with suffering. And this is, again, the ability to love others and accept them that Cancer represents, and not to run away from your heart and bury your head in the sand. So just know that you're on the forefront of this shift, and that means because of that, you have to unplug from the energy that is not aligning to that. So Cancer represents the past, represents the family, your genetic lineage, your home, your past. So now that there's a new moon in Cancer, you can more easily forge a path that hasn't been generated before. And that's exactly what you're doing to begin with. So you're going to have to find your way there through the intuition, through that, the 2911 of the date is pointing the way. It's showing you. So just like the square with Jupiter and the Venus sextile to Jupiter, there's just so much going on to help you to create these new templates. And if you're waiting for an external circumstance to make you feel a particular way or prove that we're all moving in the right direction, you're going to be waiting for quite a while, because that is really the reverse of how this works. You want to use that new beginnings energy to start with the frequency that you want to see reflected back at you. You're not waiting for that reflection to tell you how to feel first. And this is really key. If anybody who's waiting around for proof of a reflection that they want to see are not partaking in the creation process itself. So again, start with the frequency that you want to see reflected back at you, rather than waiting for the reflection to tell you how to feel first. So there's that feeling state. That's again, water sign, Cancer. That comes first. And then the thought helps you to manifest that. And then it gets reflected back to you many times in that process of the creation process. It gets reflected back, and all of this happens in the subconscious level first. And this is where the programs that you're running in the background that you're not aware of, that align with specific frequencies, are then able to be alchemized so that you feel that inner peace. You literally elevate your perception and bypass whatever programs are running that were not supportive. And then through that joy of the feeling of the frequency that you want to see reflected back at you, you embody those frequencies. You start to see more of those frequencies around you in the world. So as opposed to tuning into the doom and gloom, or feeling stuck or feeling stifled, or victimized in some way, you actually see opportunities. You're not aligning with the collective in terms of how terrible the world is and what's going to happen next. And so really, and that includes, the economy. And so this is external programming per se that you don't have to take on. You don't have to align with waiting for the reflection to tell you how to feel. You literally are saying, hey, I'm not going to, by the extension of the reality that's being presented in the media, telling me what to think, then taking on that thought, and it feels bad, and then it turns into a feeling, right? That's not a way to live your life. So if you're listening to a lot of the external right now, it can feel very heavy, and it can feel more like a tidal wave of water than a gentle stream of flowing water or a beautiful serene lake of water. And so when you start from the outside perspective and allow that storytelling to dictate the frequency that you're feeling, you're building your reality upon that. So just really move back to that 2911, back to that being in the present moment, the solstice, the new beginnings of the new moon, the new season, to focus on the new moment right now. And then what you experience is really actually based on reality. It literally is disconnected from the external to the point where you're not not aware of it. You can be aware of it, but you're not actually emotionally attached to the outcome. So there's a lot here for you to be able to tune into. And one of the things you can do to help yourself is to ask, I wonder what it would feel like to be happy. I wonder what it would feel like to be motivated. And then you will start radiating that frequency. You will literally embody it because you're asking the question, I wonder what it would feel like. So you can say, I am feeling it. But if you don't resonate to that, and I get it, I really like saying, I wonder what it would feel like to be that thing that will get you into that vibrational state. And that's really, really important now because we're on the verge of creating new systems that have never been available on Earth before, and knowing that it starts from the inside and that there's just so much creative energy that's actually available. So you want to feed yourself that energy, right? You want to feed yourself the energy that you want to live in. So this is really important to now to celebrate that you're becoming aware in every moment, because it allows you to dream. It allows you to decide what you want to create, not what you're told is coming. So just remember, you're free to create the world and the life that you want. You can thrive. You can be successful. You can create wonderful new things during this time. So tell yourself that story. Don't buy into someone else's story, right? And stay with that and be in that frequency of love and compassion and kindness and excitement, and use that Mars energy with Pluto to your advantage to really feel empowered and to really allow the love and the joy of life to give you that forward momentum of new beginnings at this time. And remember your own birth code that reveals all the gifts and talents and your destiny and your purpose, literally written in your stars and numbers. And if you want to know more about your star code, go to starcodeclass.com. It's a free masterclass with a handout that you can take and not only discover your own code, but the codes of people in your life, so you can be more aware of who they are at soul level and not judge them for where they find themselves at this time. So have a wonderful time exploring that free masterclass at starcodeclass.com, and have a beautiful solstice and a beautiful Cancer new moon. Lots of love to you.